crying. She looks so sad. She's been waiting patiently for her walk. I'm gonna take her right after this. Hello friends and welcome to a new video. In this one I'm going to take you through all of the steps I took, or at least most of the steps I took to prepare for my most recent shop update that just launched on April 21st, 2023. I've been working on the products in this update since early January. Currently I am working close to full-time between a handful of jobs on top of running my little art biz, so it usually takes me a couple of months to get an update out, although over the last few years of doing them, I'm getting better and better at the process and figuring out ways to do things more efficiently, which is kind of what this vlog is all about, is how I make my products, which things I make at home versus order externally, where I get my packaging products, and how I put everything together to put it up onto my Shopify store. So my hope is that it's filled with lots of little nuggets of wisdom for anyone out there who is either new to running their own business or anyone who's thinking of starting one. One of the first things that I got ready for this shop update was a new thank you postcard that I put in with every order that I get from my Shopify store. I always design these with the idea in mind that beyond just being a thank you card where I can express my gratitude for supporting my shop, I also want them to be a little piece of art that the recipient can do whatever they like with. So I put a little illustration on the front, and then on the back I put all of my contact info just in case whoever's ordering from me doesn't have all of it. And then I also have this little cloud design so that I can write the recipient's name on them. Flowers with faces on them somehow became the accidental theme of this shop update, perhaps because I've been drawing them a lot lately, so of course they ended up on a lot of these products. But these ones in particular, I hoped that what came across with them was the idea that we should love and give as much love and compassion to our positive emotions as we do to our negative emotions. I know I personally have kind of been on this journey of learning how to accept negative emotions instead of trying to battle them off all the time, because unfortunately I've had to learn the hard way that emotions are difficult, if not impossible, to control. And the simplest way to describe what I'm trying to say is with the quote that pain is unavoidable in life, but suffering is optional, and choosing to accept your pain is the best way to avoid suffering. So let these flowers be a gentle reminder of that. So this hedgehog cook sticker came to be because, first of all, my best-selling sticker ever is my mailman duck. He just gets so much love anytime I bring him to a market. It warms my heart so much that he is as well loved as he is. But at my last market, I got a specific request from someone for hedgehog stuff, and I thought, why not continue on the trend of animals doing people things, working people professions, and for some reason a little hedgehog with a chef's hat was what popped into my head. To me it's kind of reminiscent of Remy from Ratatouille maybe, but like that level of cute but different animal. I found for me that consistently greeting cards are one of my best sellers, especially when I'm selling in person at a market. I think that this is because greeting cards are something that pretty much everybody uses. Things like stickers and prints are a little bit more niched, but a greeting card is not only more appealing to a wider audience to buy, but it's something that is consumable in the sense that the person who buys it uses it up once. So there's something that people consistently need to buy, and so I find it something that consistently brings sales in for my shop. So for this shop update, I ended up designing 9 new greeting cards. I hadn't initially intended to do that many, but I just ended up having a bunch of ideas that I was happy with how they turned out, and I make them at home myself, so it's easy enough to just make a batch and try them out and see how they sell. That is one reason why I definitely would advocate for getting your own printer and making greeting cards yourself if that's something that you're interested in, because I've found in my experience, I started out by ordering greeting cards externally, but when you get them made elsewhere, they're actually quite an expensive item and your profit margin ends up being pretty small for a greeting card. But if you make them at home, then they become something where the profit margin is huge, aside from the fact that buying a printer is a pretty big purchase. But as soon as you buy a printer, the door's open to all sorts of other things. So that has been my experience with them, and I have loved being able to make them at home. I am thinking about making a full-length tutorial on how I make my greeting cards, because I think I've come up with a pretty solid strategy on a way to make a good quality card. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Prints ended up being kind of the reverse of cards for me for this update, in that I wanted to make much more prints than I did, but didn't have enough ideas to execute them. But I did end up coming up with a handful of new prints to add to the shop. I was initially offering both 8 by 10 inches and 5 by 7 inches for print sizes in my shop, but I decided this time around to try just doing 8 by 10 inches. I did this for a couple of reasons, the main one being that when I design an 8 by 10 print, I have to do quite a lot of adjusting and resizing to make it fit on a 5 by 7 canvas, because obviously that doesn't translate into the same dimensions. And I suppose I could just shrink down an 8 by 10 to like a 4 by 5 or whatever, but that idea actually just occurred to me just now. First, I always feel like I should be offering prints that are easy to get frames that are that size, and 4 by 5 isn't a very common frame size. But I'm curious what your thoughts are, if you have any input on that. I know for me, like, very few of my prints even end up in frames. Like, looking at my wall here, most of my prints are just kind of sticky tacked up on the wall. So I'd actually love your input. How do you put up your prints? Do you care what size they are? Etc., etc. Bookmarks are something I started doing because I was getting consistent requests for them, but I actually really enjoy doing them for a couple of reasons. One is that they're pretty easy to design because the way that I make them are just 2 inches by 5 inches, so it's a really small surface area, really easy to come up with something to put on there. Like this design I just doodled up one day, and I think it makes a really cute bookmark, but sometimes I'll also take a design that I have used for something else and adapt it to work for a bookmark. So for example, my mushroom bookmark, I just took all of the elements from my mushroom print and moved them around and made them fit on a 2x5 design. So it can be a really easy way to kind of get multiple uses out of designs that you've made for other products as well. And then also for me being able to make them at home on my printer, they're also a product that has a pretty good profit margin. Because they're just paper, I only sell them for $3 Canadian, which is pretty low for a bookmark, but in my mind, they're the kind of bookmark that it's cute and fun to have, but you don't have to worry if you lose it because it's just made out of paper, and they'd be easy to replace from buying from my shop again. I hope to one day be able to do like proper, more like sturdy material bookmarks that would be externally manufactured, but at this point, this just makes the most sense for me, so I'm gonna stick to this for a while. I was very excited to have found some great alternatives for packaging products compared to what I was using before. So one big thing is that I ordered this gigantic box of chipboard from Uline, which is what I'm chopping up here, and it's what goes in the package with every print to kind of help to prevent any damage or bending. And I love Uline because they seem to have options for pretty much every product I could possibly need as far as things I need for packaging and ordering my products and stuff like that. But the problem with Uline is the minimum quantities you can order of anything is usually 1,000. So like I said, I have this gigantic box of chipboard now that I am really curious to see how long it takes me to get through, how long it takes me to sell 1,000 prints basically, but it's very cost effective since you have to buy it in such large quantities. I think it was like $80 for 1,000 of these chipboards. But I think it is going to be really nice to have like a consistent protecting material that goes in with every single one of my prints. And then another new purchase that I'm really excited about that I think is going to really level up the quality of my packaging is these clear bags I got from clearbags.ca. I'm always on the lookout for ways to reduce waste and packaging wherever I can in all places of my life, and sadly I've decided that a plastic sleeve is just absolutely necessary for a print because not only does it protect it, it helps to make it look pristine and professional. I decided to try clearbags.ca because the ones that I had gotten from Uline that I was using before were a little too flimsy and didn't look very clean and crisp covering the prints. But on top of that, clearbags.ca has eco bags that are compostable, and I was so happy to see that the quality of the compostable bag is exactly comparable to the non-compostable one. I got both to compare, and I just could not be happier with the level of quality and how great they make my prints look. It's shop update day, and this morning I've got a few more tasks to do to finish getting ready. Right now I'm making more do not bend and return address labels that I can put on orders that will come today. And I decided yesterday that I wanted to offer like today only encourage the first few sales discount, but it's so hard to decide what to make it. My initial idea was to do the first 5 people get 20% off, but then I thought that that would go too quickly because I am going to cross post it between all my social medias, and like if even one person uses it from each social media, then suddenly it will be gone very quickly, and I don't want people to be like ripped off that they didn't even get a chance to use it. So I thought, okay, I'll do 15% off for the first 10 people. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. It's also really tough to decide what to offer for a sale because as a small business owner, it's such a toss-up between like every little bit of profit is helping me get ahead with my small business. I'm luckily at the point, only recently did I get to the point where I'm kind of running my small business off of money that it is bringing in, which took a long time to get to that point. And actually right now I'm kind of running at a deficit, but it's such a small business that it doesn't really like, and it's just, I'm doing it out of love, so it's not necessarily, it doesn't feel that way. I'm happy to spend my own money on stuff. But it's really hard for me to decide what is enough of a discount that's actually gonna like make any difference to people. Like I know when I see 10% off, I'm usually like, that doesn't, as a customer, like that's almost nothing. And 15 doesn't really feel like any more than that, but 20 is like, okay, that's a discount. But for me as the business owner, if I were to give 20% off to everybody who ordered today, that's a significant hit to the profits I could make today. But is it worth it if I get more sales? I don't know. I feel fortunate that I have spent a lot of time working in retail and kind of seeing the back end of how a lot of big successful businesses make these decisions. I don't have any kind of formal business training, but I do I am grateful I have that because I think it does help a lot with these kinds of decisions. I've got that, and then I also planned to publish this video tomorrow so that it was like Shop Update Friday and video about Shop Update Saturday, which typical. I made that decision a few weeks ago thinking like, oh, it'll be no problem to do that. I'll just do most of the editing ahead of time, but it's gonna be a bit of a crunch to get it done today, but that's okay. Just finished writing up all my drafts of the posts I'm gonna put on my various social medias right at 10. I'm nervous. I'm always a little nervous to do this, but I think the key is that something that's really important is to keep your expectations low, and part of that I think is to not make the stakes too high. So like for me right now, I know that even if this update online isn't as successful as I want it to be, I have a couple of in-person markets booked in the next couple of weeks. So even if I don't make a ton of sales today, that is okay because I have other chances in the future. And that's something that I wish that I had known before, is not to put all your eggs in one basket as far as making the sales goes. At least doing in-person markets has been really beneficial for me. That's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna find something to do for the next approximately half hour before I can hit publish on all of my posts. Probably doing the thumbnail for the video you're watching right now.